See yourself?
Yeah, I can. I don't know if we're live, but we're gonna start right now. I think so. Yeah, there's 7 seconds. Hey, you guys.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, y'all?
Right.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see everybody. I'm not used to lives because I'm like, is it thingy? Should I switch the camera? Anyway, I think we can come closer in. What's going on? Happy new moon. Happy Wednesday, I think it is today. Or Thursday, you see? One thing I want to just start off and say is thank you, ancestors, for allowing us to be here today. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to just touch base and connect. I think that's so important right now. And it's something that I promised myself I would strive to do more, which is really just connect with everybody. When you're working and have something that you're really passionate about, just want to take a second to thank everybody for supporting Cordoba Organics. There's literally over 80 products there now. And in building it myself, you know, I really took time the last like 7, 8 years to do so. And why? Why did I do this? Why was this something that I felt I needed to transition into? Just thinking about certain issues in terms of like trust and consistency and wanting to create that for myself outside of certain jobs that I might have, you know, had. And realizing that I might not ever acquire and attain certain things that I really want unless I do it for myself. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there was nobody in my 20s or 30s that really kind of pulled me aside and, you know, was able to say, yo, you're kind of going about things a little wrong, you're gonna burn yourself out. There was no elders like that in the community. And in losing, like if you know me, Celina, yeah, okay, whatever. I lost my mom at a very delicate age that I would say. I thought I was like grown because I was 19, but it wasn't until she was, you know, she left this planet that I realized I had like no clue about anything except like, you know, how to be in college and get good grades. But I really didn't know how to balance like finances and know how to invest in things and how to deal with the future debt that I was gonna get after college. And all of this was a little bit overwhelming because I didn't know who to trust, who to ask. And then that falls right in line of what I wanted to talk about today, which was family, right? Family and just having to build your own community, having to build your own network, even if it's just 1 or 2 people. Why that can be better than your own blood family, you know, and I don't think that that's something that we like to admit or that we like to talk about. I don't like talking or having to admit that there's aspects of the family that I came from that I just don't respect at all. I don't know how they could do the things they did. I don't know how people can make the choices that they choose to make and still feel like they're good people. Like, I just don't know how people are so selfish and feel like they can win, you know, and I can get a little emotional because, you know, if I didn't have a little bit of faith in myself to say, I can do better than this, then I might have gotten stuck around my aunts and uncles who said that they loved me, but really just kind of created a space or a pocket universe for me to exist in. And this goes deeper to think about what role we play as individuals or what role is set forth for us to fall into, you know. And when you are a melanated person, and I don't care if you're light skin or brown skin or whatever, I'm sharing this because I've realized it doesn't matter what color you are. It can be a little more extreme based on the person, but really people that want to be evil can be such. I'm jumping because I really am thinking about being grateful to have gotten out of certain situations that were energetic traps for me to fall into in my 20s, for me to fight for things that necessarily weren't my cause. But, you know, after my mom passed, like the night that she died, and I've talked about this, but I'm gonna jump in real quick. The night that she died and we had her, you know, her funeral that my grandfather really wanted. That night I came back home and I wasn't allowed to stay the night. You know, it was a family meeting, my uncles were there, my sister was myself, and at the time, you know, I was raised in this brownstone in Brooklyn with myself, my sister, and my two grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather. And that was for 15 plus years. So I didn't think after my mom died, my grandfather would say such a thing and be like, now that she gone, and this is the night of her funeral.
The night.
And so emotional recall is there. People, oh, she's still, she didn't heal from that. No, I really did, which is why I'm able to move on and talk about it. But what's great about being a woman is that I'm still able to connect and have compassion and remember what it felt like and think about that happening or being a reality for other people in different ways. You might not have had a funeral and gotten kicked out of your house that night, but you might feel aborted in your own family. You might not feel heard if you chose to become a vegetarian where other people are still entertaining eating meat. You might not feel like you have someone to connect to or talk to if you're choosing to do things that people in your family might not necessarily have seen for you, Like I have a birth father. He's a military man, 22 years in the military. And I share this to say that I think that became the first family, his first family. Maybe he didn't know it at first, but after serving 22 plus years as a gunny sergeant, it definitely became his first family and offset what was important in our nucleus, in our nuclear family. So I say that to say I wasn't raised with him. My parents divorced at like 4, and I moved to Brooklyn, New York from LA, from California, Anaheim specifically. So now we're in California. I have great grandparents, a great, extended family in my mind, but how great is it that at 19, if my mom passes and I'm kicked out, it can't be that great, right? So that kind of hit me and was like one of the first big blows that I didn't even really let them know how it really made me feel that night. I just was like, fine, great, you don't want me here? Fine, I'm out. Grab a book bag, come on, Mika. And this really affected my sister, it affected all of us. But, it wasn't my place at 19 to not follow what my grandfather had dictated. So I leave and I go back to school as a sophomore at Syracuse. And again, just am grateful to be someplace warm and finish school and try to do what I know my mom really sacrificed a lot to get me to do. And again, this goes right into hospital stuff, and she was killed by the hospital for special surgery in the 90s. And what's strange about that, that's the same hospital I had my knee surgery at, and she had her first hip surgery. So going into her second hip surgery, she's over anesthetized. Oh, it was a mistake, it was our fault, and that's how I lost her. She was healthy. Yeah, she had a little congenital, but that's like me with my knees. She just didn't know anybody with yoga. She didn't know any of that shit back in the day. Nobody was there to be like, maybe you should, swim more, and there's nobody to really save us when we really need help, right? And how do we save ourselves? You know how happy I am that sometimes I think about my mom on the other side and the fact that she knows that I didn't cut my hair and I didn't go back to the house that kicked me out, and I didn't make these people dominate my happiness and make me feel like I couldn't have a future. And it's hard because when you don't have that nucleus of a family, now who's gonna vouch for you? Who's gonna say, hey, I know this young lady? So here I am at 21, just passionate about so much, still really cheery-eyed, but going through life completely blind. And I say that because I didn't know that certain elders in my community that I even kind of began to look up to and be like, wow, it's really great to be in a place where metaphysics is being spoken about and knowledge is being shared. And I feel like it's not just about this material realm and this third dimensional reality. And when you lose a parent and when you go through stuff, you start to value life differently and see like, wow, every day is so important and why. And yeah, security is important, but I don't want to treat people the way my family treated me. I don't want to be disconnected from society and life the way certain people choose to for fame, financial gain, and popularity. Like what I realized is I wasn't even disregarded for anything other than potentially what I could be. It wasn't what I was acting like then. It was potentially what I could be. The only thing that stood out at the time was that I stopped eating meat at 15, and coming from a Panamanian, like that's a little unheard of because we do a lot of pork and all this. Do you know how grateful I am that I started just making decisions that might have been a little outside the box? Because you got to get your practice, because this world does not condition you to have to make choices or to have beliefs that are a little what I would consider obtruse. And obtruse can be, hey, now I want to cut this perm out and start growing my hair. And my own father was like, why do you have that shit in your head? This is like 15, 20 years after seeing me, why do you have that? I'm thinking I'm doing well and contacting my dad. I had a kid, and maybe we could start, I wanted my son to at least know. Absolutely great thoughts, but this person has no self-respect, and there's been over 20 for himself, and there's been over 20 years that's passed. Why would he think that? Why would he like me? Like, I'm not what he created. You know what I'm saying? He likes his woman to have straight hair. He likes me with my blowout. He likes me with a doobie. If he has seen pictures, So the first was like my pops being real, like, you need to do a tape maybe of you cutting your hair off, or I don't know why you feel you need to support this or support that. Let me tell you something. I'd rather support somebody with a dream than something or somebody without none. And that might sound silly to some because we're conditioned to not give unless there's something in it for us. And that's just a no-no. Do you know that I've gotten more by giving at certain times in my life where I didn't think I'd get anything back, i.e. my husband? But when you see something that you're passionate about, and at the time, just passionate about protecting people that are good to their kids, protecting people that, want to provide and want to be there for others, but might not have had the income or the finance to necessarily be supported in doing such right away. So, that's always been something that I've really, if I have anything I believe in, it's not only truth, but it's really supporting the underdog and really supporting people that come from nothing, because no one lets us know it might be better to not trust anybody. It might be better to not share your business ideas with people, because yeah, there are people that are supportive, but there's more people that aren't than are. And when you have like a heart on your sleeve and you're raised to just not even believe in race and these things, you're just kind of like, oh my God, cheery-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then you're like food. You just become food for society. Like, oh, this bitch think that. Oh, this bitch think this. I used to, you know where I really started? I used to trust people doing my hair. I have all my burns on my face are from somebody burning me with the curling iron or hurting. Well, why would you let it happen again if you got burnt the first time? Like, stop letting people do your hair. And that wasn't, I'm just 15. Oh, it's okay. It was an accident. How many times are people going to accidentally poke me in the eyes? Remember that friend that came over and you were painting? She like flicked paint in my face as a joke, but it got in my eyes so bad that I almost blinded myself.
You almost cut your retina.
My retina, like little stuff in me just being like, oh, everybody's friendly and everybody, nah. And that was hard, a hard pill to swallow, because I started wondering, what am I doing to ensue this type of energy? What am I doing to like attract jealousy and envy when because you're not valuing and being aware that maybe what you give off is not what other people give off. And maybe like just because you don't see, and this is what I mean by valuing yourself and knowing your place. Like, I didn't know my position in my family was to not only serve everybody with food, but to also just be really like the cheerleader, to be very encouraging, to not talk back, and to just, fall in my place of serving. Literally, I would serve my grandma. Right. So I don't have a problem with like, certain maternal and like certain things that are kind of wifey or maternal. Because at like the age of 7, my grandfather conditioned me like, you bring me my plate of food and you take it and put it in the sink. If I'm paying the bills, this is what you do. And you want to be a wife, like real, like, okay. But some people might consider this like programming, and others might be like, nah, he was putting you on to game as to how to keep a man, or
both.
who knows? All I know is that even in being raised, that's how my mother was. You serve and take care, and they will take care of you. Not just men, your mom, your sister, your family. If I'm doing laundry, pick up the other person's laundry. Don't just think about yourself. If you're doing dishes, don't just wash yours. Wash all of them. It's just not your dish.
Right.
So I was really raised to, okay, all of that to say I didn't know that that was my position or lot in life. Kind of like to just serve and be of service. And what is this dictating? What is this telling me about myself in the future? That I can't challenge, I can't speak up, I don't, especially now that there is no buffer of the family, I'm realizing that this color dictates a certain energy. And regardless of what I think, certain people might treat me a certain way and devalue more because I'm brown skinned, right?
That's right.
So that also hit me a little hard. And I say all this to say I had a reading with a young man. I call him the young Don. Everybody I do readings for, they're not just tarot, or I kind of work with a number of modalities and ask for a couple different things. Not money-wise, but just little stuff. Little stuff. Why? Because we're not just cards. And I realized the last 3 years, I've just been quiet because I'm not here to ruffle anyone's feathers, to make anyone feel like what they do is wrong or needs to be questioned. Everybody needs to figure out what they're good at. Right. But I had an elder once tell me, like, yo, the things I'm showing you and teaching you, I don't necessarily want you to go out in the world and feel like you can just share this like easy like Sunday morning, because some people aren't really prepared for the energy that you're going to give them the responsibility to kind of have. And it can drive people crazy. Yeah. It's going to drive them crazy. It's going to make them reliant on certain tools. And again, these are just tools. It does not, these tools, you activate them. Yeah. And so in me watching how people are thinking, I've just wanted to stay quiet to let people get their rocks off and get their feet wet and help people the way they feel. But I'm not being of service if I don't sometimes say what I see happening, which is creating loopholes of energy to not only just bind themselves to the people that they do these readings for, but that's not necessarily how you are supposed to give a reading to someone, especially if you cannot see them with tarot cards. But again, it's not wrong, it's not bad. You can get a little greatness out of everything now, right? But it's to say that certain techniques have been skipped because there wasn't anybody in our elder community that passed anything down. That's right. And what I realized is all of our elders the elders I mean in like Brooklyn, people that I was like, oh, she's dope, oh, he's dope. No, what you're seeing is a dope archetype of somebody that looks dope. Right. But you don't know about this person. You don't know about their family. You don't know about their and you don't have to. But what ends up happening is I didn't realize a lot of people use metaphysics and like head wraps and culture to almost create an air of hierarchy. Yes. Above other people and use that as a springboard of permission slips to dictate and to say, hey, this is how women need to be, or that's not cool, because not only is it not based in reality, but what are these people's alliances to other than fame, popular? I didn't know that in 20 and 30. I just was like, eat up whatever culture and goodness you can get. And I wish I had somebody like me to put me onto certain game, because it's gotten so crazy now. A lot of people are trusting the wrong energy for anything. You know, whether it's social, it's just so much is going on right now. And I said to myself, I'm not necessarily going to be completely of service if I just stay in the kitchen making products and blending butters, because that is just an aspect of what I do. But I don't want it to create a portal in which I'm not able to share stuff that I'm learning about with you guys and say, okay, now I have to, in a sense, say, wow, I didn't know that I've become the elder. But what I mean by that is I had this reading with this young man. I called him the secret Don, because so much energy and power, and like, you know, he gonna have his. But empowering them to have that, because certain people are put in positions to have to take care of their family, which is great. But we got to figure out how to carve out some time for ourselves so that we still can manifest what we need to manifest. And the young Don was dope because he's 15 and he's 30. His mom put him on to Aseer and I when he was 14 and a half, 15. He just had his first reading from me, shouts out. And I'm so humble because he was the first person that was really like, do you know that I've really, like, it's been like 16 years that I've watched y'all, and I didn't know that. I'm just in my little Celina world trying to figure out how to discharge, you know, how to get rid of student loans and build my credit up and do things right in LLC. I'm not aware that what I did on Nostrand Avenue, I didn't know. So I'm like, wow, get out of here. He's like, girl, so I'm, you know, like thinking, I'm like, you, first of all, no fanfare with me because I'm so down to earth. And I've thought that I've revealed so much about myself, but people still, you know, don't know, that might have just jumped on a YouTube today, and I don't build my channel. So why don't you build your channel? It takes too much energy while I'm trying to build consistency in my real life. Because then I said, what if I burn people out with my image? There's always going to be someone else, younger, prettier, bigger boobs, more attractive. This whole thing is not real. They might show me 4,000 and I might get 40, or I might get 4. But I remember doing lectures with 7 people in the room and us going in for 5-7 hours. So it's not about the number of people. For me, it's about the content and about the opportunity to connect. And it's about being honest enough to say the things that people share with me, I want to keep sacred, because I know what it feels like to not have anybody to trust. I know what it feels like to have my money taken and stolen. I know what it feels like to think that these people are like supportive and cool, but they might steal some shit in my house, and maybe I need to stop being so trusting. And then it's like, damn, but I am trusting. So now I gotta be the naive, you know, the naive monkey and just act like, you know, I don't see certain shit going on, and I don't see certain manipulative, you know, tactics being used and things taking place in our community to divide women of different color and different economic status. And all of that, you know, a lot of this stuff is based in certain Eastern Star affiliations, certain Circle 9 affiliations. And again, these women that have these affiliations, I get it. You get looked after, you get hooked up. It's like, who wouldn't want to be a part of a mafia in which somebody could look out for you? But I want to be a part of the real mafia, not like little, you know, little groups that aren't gonna, that, I'm gonna keep it real. I want to be a part, when I say the real mafia, I mean like something Don Corleone type, where you could go right through national, that you could go and say, look, this is what's happening, this is what's taking place in the community, and they'd be like, we got it. We got our, you know, we got our militia right here. We can make sure that you're protected. Your kids won't be in harm. All of this, that's not, that doesn't exist. That's not out there. And I get why women want to be a part of these groups. I'm not here to judge. That's great. You know, not everybody has a disposition to be like, I'm just going to do it alone. You got to understand, I started that kind of like, I'm not joining that, because I realized at a younger age that joining certain groups were, it's almost like that's an allegiance. That's like an offering. You're offering yourself into something. And if I don't know the history of what I'm offering myself into, I might be following some Greek philosophy that's just based in rape and color association. But because now black people are doing it, the color part is gone, and we all think that it's just about empowering each other through jobs and businesses. It is in one aspect, but there's also a spiritual aspect behind all this other stuff. And I don't think that people sometimes know how or are even aware that that's taking place. We're not, because no one teaches us the Girl Scouts or your cotillion or the things. I did both of those. I was a Girl Scout and I went through a cotillion because there was some programming there to be like, look, I know you're your mother's child, but we want to put you through this, that, and the third, because really your hair can get straight enough too. marry a white man, and you speak well enough to pass in certain circles and community. And these are people of color telling me this.
Yeah.
So again, all of it is to say that what are we being influenced by? When that young man told me, I've been listening to you for 15, it allowed me to go, wow, I'm kind of like an elder. Because but I'm not taking that stance. Why, Celina? Well, because you're still feeling like you just got it together. You're just feeling like you're getting all of this adult stuff together. And really when it started coming together was when I admitted to myself that there is no one out there, minus present company, and even that, this is a blessing. So I don't want to rely on it, all right? This is at least my program. We're gonna act like he's not sitting here to not affect. But really my programming, don't rely, don't need any. So, okay, it's great that he's here, but I still want to manifest and be able to do this. God forbid anything. That's my programming, right? I could take care of my son, myself, whatever I choose to bring in. So in all of that, that's not the way life is supposed to be. You are not supposed to feel isolated and be like, bah, humbug, no one else. But the experiences I had, I started feeling that I had more luck in not paying a friend to stay in a dirty basement, in not paying someone to trust that, hey, I can be here for a week. But really, you need your own, because you're the girl with no family and a dead mom. Excuse me, that to sound so extreme. But you need your own, because the more you think everybody kind of knows that about you, that's kind of like the glitter around you. Since 18, that's been the glitter around you. Oh, she on her own. So, okay, I'm on my own. All this is great. But really what that means is there's no other family that's trying to take me. I knew that, but I didn't know how harsh a slack that was going to be in some, all right, there's no place to vacate. You're always going to be your only house to stay in. If anything happens with your mate, there'll be no escapism to go to. Since Amore's been born, 12 years, I have not had an aunt, an uncle, a cousin. And then people are like, oh, well, I'm here. That's great you're here, but I don't know you. No. I'm talking about people that I've just met. I've met some people that are real dope, but I don't know them. So there's a part of me that's like, they look great, they seem cool, but just like the lady down the hall from me with her screaming kids like they're on fire, I don't know how people really interact with their children because that's what you trust your family for, right? So again, we're on our own. All of this is taking place, this wisdom, this brilliance that I want to support, that came with a price, because I didn't know that the elders in our community were jealous of that wisdom. We're jealous of the potential of where that wisdom would go. And doing such, we're like, you know what? Let's applaud everybody but a seer. Let's give everybody credentials as a scholar except a seer. And what that did for me was a blessing in disguise, because it allowed me to go, you have invested so much energy in people and that is not real, that is not based in anything corporeal. Just because they look and sound and thing and you think that they would rather invest and give a trophy of scholarship to someone that I can clearly see is a social and culture pimp.
Yep.
But because they might not be as threatening, or because they can still influence them, they're gonna be ascended to the top. And people that are really at home reading and trying to study, not just biography, but I'm just saying study, that they have built their own bibliography. That's not interesting. I want to be around the popular, the famous, the money, the this. I did not know, because that was really like, if we knew that, then we wouldn't all be like, oh, this is about work and manifesting the greatness of self. No, it isn't. It's about aligning yourself with people that are famous, getting your money, and staying away from people that are low class, brown skin, and might represent some lower hierarchy.
Something that's gonna make white folk uncomfortable. They don't want nobody.
And I didn't know any of that. So I'm saying that to say, our elders didn't help us out. And I don't want to become one of those elders that can't be approached, talked to, ask a question, ask anything, ask a question, get advice from, because what I've learned, I don't want other people to go through. I don't want young women to feel like they shouldn't share their, but that just worked for me, because I realized you're kind of expecting like the unexpectable if that's even a word. Like, yeah, you're doing right by paying people to like maybe stay with them for a week or whatever, but you need your, like, I've always had my own apartment, but I'm just talking about just a week away to do something. No.
When black folk go through situations, it's very rarely that they can call other so-called black folks to help them out of those situations, if you notice. We tend to put other people before our own, and it's gotten to a point where it seems like we can't even acknowledge the beauty in one another without it turning into some contest. And because everybody is so caught up in likes and views, hits, subscribers, numbers, nobody is dealing with human beings anymore. And so those of us that still like being humans, you know what I'm saying, who grew up in a society in which we wanted to be collectively together. This society that we're in is not conducive to that. This society that we're in is about separating people along socio-economic lines. Anything that can separate you from somebody else is what's exacerbated. So like I noticed one day, like, and then on the other side, anything that you collectively create out of nothing, other people are gonna wanna try to figure out a way to be it exactly. And then if anything, just to spite the fact that you're the one that originated. You understand? Case in point, one day, the queen, my wife came out the shower, and her hair was like down, like in the front, the way that the old Phoenicians used to wear. So I made a comment of that, and then she was like, "Word." So then when we was ready to go out, she was like, "You know what, I'm gonna stop twisting. I'm gonna just left it out." You know what I'm saying? So then I was like, "Yeah, it looked dope like that, right?" So then I never seen nobody with that type of hairstyle ever.
And I didn't cut like my bangs or anything. It's
I didn't see nobody.
All my hair comes from back here.
My point is, outside of the ancient Phoenicians, I ain't never seen nobody with it modernly. Because in the modern day, most females, they not even trying to have their own hair on fleek like that. So imagine my surprise one day when I'm scrolling through, right? I'm scrolling through something and I see this shorty, like literally, not just with the same joint, but she don't even got locks. Like this chick got fake locks and
beautiful
and put them in. You dig what I'm saying?
For me, I'm like, thank God, because now I'm not the only one. I won't stand out so much. And he was like, that's fucked up though. He was like, you know why? They don't ever tag you. And I said, well, honey, he said, because Celina, I'm letting you know I've never seen.
That shit got me tight.
That's why
you know why it
got
me tight? It got me tight because in this new era, these millennial people create in situations where like they want you to teach them and then they want to act like they teaching you at the same time. Like they want to get what you have. They want to act like, okay, you could be doing something for 20 years. Like she started the lotion thing almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, but it's been like 8 years.
Let's say about 8 years, right? But prior to that, it was about 4 years you prepping to do that.
Yeah, because I didn't have
okay,
LLC
so altogether, it's 10 years.
Yes.
10, 12 years, right?
Yes.
So what you've been doing this thing for so long, right? Pushing it out there, doing it out there. That I noticed chicks that wasn't even on this type of, they not even on that lotion, skin product, nothing. All of a sudden now, you know what I'm saying? Coming out with their own versions and stuff, right? While at the same time acting like...
I like using aspects of the...
Yeah, using aspects of stuff that you already did, that you have put in play, that you trademarked, copyrighted, all of that. And what I'm saying is...
What am I going to do, get caught up?
No, but then what they doing is they don't even have no products. What they doing though,
like 1 or 2.
what they got is media. So what they do, they go to the mainstream, they go to the media, right, and be like, yo.
It can be content.
They be like, yo,
it's okay.
look at, yeah, I have all of my products about to come out, or I'm about to do this, or I can't wait to let you know that it's popping like this, and I got this.
About the lip
I'm
gloss.
talking about everybody that's
a-
biting off of what somebody else doing. That's really what I'm talking about.
But you're not a biter. You have to understand 98% of people in the world are inspired through something someone else is doing.
Right, my point is inspiration is one thing. I'm inspired by a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspired by a lot of things.
I know.
I'm inspired by birds and shit, but I'm not gonna put feathers on my arms and then try to emulate flying like a crow, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to be doing.
But that's the thing.
So what I'm saying is what they do. What I'm saying is what they do is they create this vacuum where they feel like they could just, like, you could be doing something for mad years. These niggas not even have half the amount of wisdom, experience, or product that you got, or acumen that you got. But they come in the game like they've been doing it as long as you.
That's the beauty of media.
Nah, B, that's an illusion. That's a lie.
And then that will hopefully...
That's a lie. Y'all niggas is lying. Y'all niggas is fronting.
And that's why I think
to get clout that you didn't work for and didn't work to experience yourself. You trying to see what somebody else doing and you trying to buddy hustle up under that. And then what you do is you don't want to even give credit to the person that you see doing it. That's a problem that black people got.
Because then there'll be a link to the person that's really doing it, and maybe they won't get. We remember that lady told us that she was like, no, what's happening is they don't want to think that because then people go, oh, well, why do I need to follow her when it's really this girl that's doing the work?
I ain't feeling that.
It's horrific, but that's the way people are, and I didn't want that to age me in my late 30s and my, now I'm 43. I used to be annoyed with stuff like that in my 20s and 30s, but I wanted to grow out of it and say, well, it might be, what can I refine? What can I do more? Even him, we met, there was a lawyer with our stuff, right? And he's like, I'm ready for the cease and desist. And the student was like, yo, he's right. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that right now. He's like, well, when are you going to do it? What it's going to do is
I'm ready to litigate it.
It might create a relationship with up-and-coming business artists. They might feel like I'm trying to stop their whatever. And really, it's just crystal infusion therapy, and my aura. It's the small things. Yeah, but all of that to also say, I'm grateful that I have a community that can say, well, regardless of what's happening, I remember her doing certain work, and it feels different, and it smells. I want everybody to win. And one thing about life is that you want people that are set in your life to be opposition. You want to try to start to program yourself to allow to want, like, to cheerlead them to win, because there's something in a magic of not being offended or not feeling triggered by that turns into a different type of gasoline. I only discovered it like 5 years ago. I ain't even gonna toot my horn like I've been practicing that shit for years. No, 5 years, but it's worked for me where I'm really, as soon as I see something that's like a I program myself to say no. He laughs because he goes, no, that is what that is. And there's two sides to a coin. He's right, but I'm also right, because I have to say, well, this also, they obviously liked it enough to emulate or to try to ding. And that's just talking about whether it be a hairstyle, when he used to wear braids in the front of his hair. People ding, but we don't, at least we're not the type, we can't expect everybody, and you don't. It's just to say that I've never seen something that I've been inspired by and not told the person.
What I'm saying is that I've seen you do things in the world, and other females, melanated females, copy the shit, and then they act like you not around, or they don't see you do that. That's what I'm peeping.
And it's okay,
both
because the
mainstream,
behind that will come.
both just in the internet world,
you're right.
and in other places.
But that's also why I don't look at
me,
it
like,
to keep me on point, because what were you gonna say? Me?
I was like, with me, it happened so much with me. Like, I just don't even, whatever. I got dudes making up shit. Where dudes trying to blackmail me to get them, like, hitting me with stuff through YouTube, trying to find a way to get me to endorse them by, it's just crazy. Like, do people nowadays would do anything for clout. That's what I peep, bro. And if you're not from that era, if you're not cut from that cloth where, like, I don't want any accolades for stuff that I ain't do. I don't expect to be compensated for work that I haven't produced. I don't expect people to just automatically want to come and sit at my feet and listen to what I'm saying, whatever. Like she said, I used to do lectures and used to do things at community centers and stuff, but it would be like 2 people there. And then
And
I've done them where it's been 2,000 people.
Yep, and
plus.
he would stay
You
the
did?
same time
And I'm giving them the
same
same energy in both instances, because part of me is even amazed that people even still hollering and checking for me like that.
Absolutely.
For the fact that you got so much
Respect.
fake. Well, no, I was gonna say that you got so many of these people with the fake info, with the fake Morris science, with all of this bravado and extra posturing, that somebody like me that's not gonna be out there hitting you in the head every day with a video. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Because I'm so much in the real world. I'm living in the real world. I don't got time to constantly be on the internet. If you constantly on the internet, if you constantly in a group chat, if you constantly on Clubhouse, if you constantly in TikTok, like, when are you living your life? People have framed their lives to fit inside of this little phone screen that we in right now, man. And that has killed our social interaction and communication with one another, where now we only watch each other, not us,
like
or
do
y'all,
this type of shit.
But
and that's why I feel I need to do it, because I'm like, I think I'm present, but no, I haven't posted a this in a couple weeks or that. Even today, I said last night I worked up until like 5 in the morning, put all my envelopes out so that this morning all I could do was drop them off, cook dinner, take care of them more, and say, let me try to schedule some stuff so I can have a moment where I can think this. The orders from last night will be there today, but at least I can take a minute and shift my schedule shit up.
Sister Ashley Williams, she said,
because if I don't switch my schedule up, ain't nothing new gonna happen.
Sister Ashley Williams said, we become avatars stuck inside of a computer screen. That's exactly what it is.
And I don't want to be that. Like, even I did a reading the other day, and the young woman wrote me back, and she was like, well, I don't feel like I know you. And I wanted to be like, I did the reading for her. Of course, I'm not going to talk about myself the whole time.
That's rude.
When I'm doing a reading for you.
That's rude.
But it made me think, like, wow, maybe is she transfer? I said, no. She's just letting me know she doesn't know how to think. This is why I'm trying to create small portals, but I have to keep it real with you and telling y'all that even in doing readings and stuff, I want to do them privately, because this world is not prepared for what it is that I want to share with each individual. And I don't think that it's the world's business to see how we do certain stuff, because then it kind of alleviates it alleviates the me and you. And that's what I meant to say. 30 people last month, right? So I did these readings. I said I'm gonna do something different, and they went great. But what I realized is after there's no after. They get their reading, and then it's like they're in the world. And I don't want people to feel like they can't connect again or can't think. So I'm like, maybe I have to create something. So I did. And I'll share it with the people that think, but I am going to create something that, again, if you do decide to talk or we chat, that it's not always has to be recorded or videotaped, unless you want it to be. But then I'll, keep it real with you and say, okay, then we got to do it at this time, because I'm usually in sweats and a headscarf looking like a hazmat. I have a Carhartt suit now that I just working on some Carhartt subway shit. But the point is that I want to be more present for people. And I know that I can't do that by transferring the reading into like chit chat sessions where I'm just like their friend. Because then if I become a friend, I'm not going to keep it as real with you as I am when I know I'm also hired for a service. And the service really is to bring, like, not only encourage you to be your best, but all of us have something different going on. Some of us need to be able to rely on our families because they have got great families. Families, everybody's different. Some
family is great, then we're not talking about you.
Exactly. But then there's some people that have shit for families that treat them horribly.
A lot of us grew up on earth and our families was broken. We only 80 years away from when they was jumping on people's backs and riding them down the street. Black people's backs riding them down the street. You understand what I'm saying?
Like all this new growth.
That's what I'm saying.
But I can't throw because it's my hair. I can't always try to make it a style and think. So I just let it grow down, But I say that to say not everybody is the same. Some people I talk to and I'm like, oh my God, you have like the perfect mom. And some of us need to hear that. You might not like her, but she's there.
She there.
You could share shit.
She alive.
She's willing to think. Like, this man's mom is alive. He ain't never, one lecture out of maybe the 50 he done did. Or the 150 he done did in New York. And that's to say, she just don't like seeing him like that. She doesn't like seeing, he passed the bar. The other day, he showed me this video of a mom that was mad happy about his son. Oh, hallelujah. I mean, she was like, Oh my God, this nigga has made it.
Yep.
He has made it. And
Praising Jesus.
And I was like, that's nice, no doubt. But I laughed because I said it was the exact opposite for you. First, my mom passed the bar and she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna swear myself in.
I ain't doing that.
I never studied for it, so I didn't think. He passed the bar exam. Then it's like, you're gonna be a lawyer. And it's like, nah, I'm not.
Nope.
I ain't doing that.
I did
And
that
so
for you.
then you gotta understand, imagine the mother having that same type of verve, being his mom. And then years later, he do nothing with the degree or with the bar. So his mom is not happy. Because you got to imagine a mom that's that happy for their kid to pass the bar. And then he go, I ain't serving. I'm not going to become a lawyer. It was like all her hopes and dreams of what she invested him to be.
Then she was like, why not? I said, because they serve the devil. Like, this is all a barrister association. If I'll do that, that means that I can't even, that means I'm a foreign agent for the queen. Even watching his sister, like, great.
Oh, not really.
I applaud the fact that the young man studied and all of that, whatever.
It's dope.
And then the
That's
moms
a great
really
celebration.
was really giving all the glory to the white man, giving all the glory to Jesus, not as if taking all of the work that this young man had done himself. Jesus wasn't reading them books. And it's a lot with that statutory hard to study for that stuff. It's a lot, man. You got to read a lot of case law. A lot, really not so much case law, more like statutory administrative procedure and all of that. So kudos to anybody that put themselves through that garbage and then go through it. But the fact of the matter still stands the same. You're celebrating, you're thanking Jesus Christ for your son to be accepted in the order of Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
remember we talked about people don't know what they're faith driven. They didn't know, they never done. I would think now in 2021 you would at least have heard or
there's no such thing as ignorance in 2021, bro. There's no such thing as that.
You know, I
There's
still
no
give
such thing
people
as
that
that.
card, and I love
If
him
you
for
are
it, 'cause
Christian
he's right. I know
and
it's
you
different.
believe that Jesus Christ, the white Jesus, is your God, and anything else outside of that is fake, then that is the life choice that you have made. Stop trying to get these people to be something and look at things the opposite way. If you believe that the pale Arab religion or version of Islam is the only real Islam, to the point that you're going to go and dye your hair red and marry a 12-year-old girl and think it's okay that it was okay for Muhammad to marry a 9-year-old girl and stuff, like, then that's what you got to do. That's the life choice that you made.
But we will not.
But don't look at me because I'm not participating in that, because I know the truth of what all that stuff is about, man.
Or to validate it.
Or to validate it. Just because you made the bad choice don't mean that I got to sit there and support that. I support the right of you making your choice, but I'm not going to put myself in the same level as you because you made that choice.
Absolutely.
You and I are better than people who said shit like, oh, well, we got to choose between two evils. Anybody using talk like that is evil. You understand?
It's absolute. It's
Sith. Evil.
It's very Sith Lord.
It's evil. You don't choose between two evil.
Lord.
You don't choose between, okay, I'm going to
dirty
shoot
glass
you.
of water.
I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to stab you. That's basically saying how you want to die. Who's going to make a choice in that? That's like choosing your right over your left. You don't make extreme choices like that, because those choices are what they call compelled benefits in law, at law. And a compelled benefit is something that I'm compelled to do that benefits somebody else. Like vaccines, like taxes, like snitching, like whatever you choose to do. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is that we're at the point now where you cannot claim that you don't know that there's opposite information, or you didn't know that Joe Biden was the one that signed the bill that put over 7 generations of children, black men, women, and children in jail perpetually, and created and fed the prisoner pipeline system.
Oh, whatever. We're just gonna
no, y'all niggas y'all gonna vote.
Out the window, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all gonna vote for people who do that to you.
It's not that. Oh. And then this is exactly why I'm like, I'm not thinking, because I don't want to create any disparaging energy or make people feel as though. And that's what's great about having a balance as well, because he sometimes comes in and says, yeah, but then you're not thinking. And he's right. But I, as a woman, do you know how hard it is to have certain values and belief systems and to go, well, I don't want to make other women that might not feel this way feel. So I listen and don't have a problem addressing stuff where people are at. Word. But it's my job as well is to also try to kind of pull you out of there to see that you don't have to stay there as well, or else I'm just kind of like jerking you
Jerking you
off and
off.
letting you say shit. This is what I mean by it still has to be a service, because I don't want to just humdrum. Your friends are there to make you feel good and
Yep.
to cheerlead you into what you think. And that's not what I want the
Your friend's supposed to
position
keep it real with
or the
you.
role I want to play, especially in younger women's lives, where I could be like, let me tell you something, that nigga ain't never gonna commit to you because this, that, and the third. You know, you see, or, oh, well, how do you know that? You're giving advice based on, how could I if I've only been with two people and the person that I really, really, you know, I've been heartbroken twice. Not by him, but I've gone through stuff. Sometimes people see couples and they're like, oh, they don't know, they've never. I've gone through stuff, I've gone through betrayal, heartbreak, someone lying straight to your face, and naive Nancy just being like, oh no, they would never, because what do they have to lose? Why would they lie to me?
That's why you can
like,
get it.
I'm
That's why
exactly
you
because
can do
you've
shit,
gone
because
through
you
stuff.
actually went through it and did it yourself.
And came out
Nobody
the
came
other
and
end.
rescued you.
No.
Nobody came and said this is how you're supposed to do. There wasn't no group chat you
No.
could go into
And I think-
and
no.
ask people what to do about
No,
it. Like,
but that's also to say that was that generation. Now, even in thinking and trying to be more, I had to really say, okay, I can do this today because I worked so hard. I don't like people waiting a day or two for their products. It's just my personal thing. If you spend money, it's not in the mail the next day. It's gonna be in the mail the day after, unless things are so busy. But again, is this the only thing that I want to talk about? Revive butter for my feet, you know, the entire Skinstrology line, certain things that I've done to almost replace the fact that I wasn't physically or couldn't physically be present, because I know it's not going to turn out to be much of anything. He just said it. You can have 2 lip glosses, 1 lip gloss,
Yep.
get a write-up, and be off to the races.
Off to the race.
Why would someone want to work as hard as I have, create 85? Because it's also a journey where I have tried to challenge myself and say, well, even if I'm not getting money, I want to see something grow and invest in my dream. That means no one else is going to believe in it. No girl's going to want to come over and help me blend when I'm not able to, you know, maybe pay more than $10, $15 an hour. And why, instead of me thinking like that, let me think about how to do it myself so that I don't ever have to rely on anyone else, because this is what this is. I needed to pick myself up and say, how many times you gonna give a friend $300 to stay in their basement and then have a problem with the basement? They did their job.
Yeah.
They letting you go where they fucking feel you can be.
That's not true.
I
if
would-
you tell somebody,
Right.
hey, I'm coming to do something,
And
and I
then-
ask you, hey, is the whole thing cleaned out because I'm bringing my son, my child, I don't want him to be whatever, and then you say yes, then when I get there and it's not like that and it's fucked up and messed up and dirty and all that, like I got to do the cleaning, I'm talking all types of shit about you. Just because of the
And I
fact.
have it.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's why she's dope, because at the same time, I'm gonna blow it up.
Because
Like,
they did what they could.
no,
and that
they
was-
didn't. They lied to you.
You're right, but that was my lesson in saying, why do I feel like, why do I believe people? Why do I think what people are gonna say is gonna be what it is?
You're a good person.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, but it's
Good
also
person.
ridiculous. I started to have to program myself different. They did the best they can. You need to stop thinking that people can think. I wouldn't treat somebody like that, but they don't have the same respect for me as I would them. And maybe they thought that they did, but I just can't. This is gonna be the last time, and that was like 5 years ago, and I promised myself I am not, or 4 years, I don't know. I promised myself I'm not putting myself in a position anymore that even when things get tight with him, because again, you know, 15 years in the same apartment from when you're 21, maybe you need to go visit an aunt for a week. Maybe I'll need a little respite.
Maybe.
That's not being given to us.
Never.
You gotta survive, and this is how you need to do it. So we went through stuff a little differently than I would think other couples should or need to. You're supposed to have support from your community. You're supposed to be celebrated. You're not supposed to be attacked or threatened or pulverized or made to believe that your life is shit because you like someone.
Yeah.
Or that you're not gonna have, and for me, certain things became certain realities because his brothers aren't in his life. His mother doesn't call. This doesn't happen. It's been over 15 years. She's never spent a day. But you knew that getting into the situation. So why did you think that maybe?
Right.
Oh, I
And
just
then
thought,
one
well,
day
maybe
I do a
people be
lecture and
Cuban,
then boom,
and
just
then-
pop up, and it's like, oh hey mom, like oh, okay, this is what we doing. We okay.
And he played
And
the
okay, this
perfect
knowledge
role.
is good now. Okay, so
And he
all of the
played the
years when I
great
got
role.
kicked out at 16 and I'm going to hell because I believe in Allah and Allah is God and the original man and all this other shit. I'm going to hell. I'm kicked out. I'm ostracized from the family. But yes, done anybody need any information on the Bible, I'm the first one you call, you know what I'm saying? So imagine my surprise. I'm at one of the most successful ones I've ever had. Turned to turnout. I was just bugging. And then somebody said, yo, your mom said, I was like, who's mine?
She hasn't even met our child.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And
I
I've
don't know this
tried.
lady.
I've tried.
So then
Calling,
boom, I
not-
come through and I'm like, oh, that you really here. Okay. But then, you know,
Not taking things personally.
I'm an Aries, double Scorpio. So immediately the Scorpio come in like, oh, this chick really fronting. She really out here. And then my Aries is like, yeah, but you know what?
Let her. It's
She's
your
still
mom.
your mother.
Exactly.
She came. She's showing support.
Take it when you can get it.
Take what you can get.
And let
you
it
know
go.
you're never gonna see her after this. That's just what she do. Enjoy the time. And that's what I did.
Yes. And that's what.
And that
that's
was the
what
last time. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like you gotta be in
You
the
think
moment.
I want that for him? Do you know that the programming, like, oh God, a man that's not in a good relationship with his mother
Shit
is
ain't
just
got
gonna
nothing to
think.
do with nothing.
No, but it really, for a young woman, you want, if a man isn't in a good relationship with his mother, then he's hit.
Yeah, but what about all the women that's not in good relationships with their mothers? What's up with all the women that's not in good relationship to their mothers? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of that. And remember, the mothers is the ones raising all these kids allegedly by themselves anyway, right? So what's up with that then? When does the responsibility become equal? If the guy is not there, then we cannot just blame him for not being there. He can't be the reason why the kid is messed up because he don't even have no influence in the kid.
Salmon jerky. I made salmon jerky. $5 little salmon lot from
Yeah, it's
little
tight.
BLT.
It's tight.
Anyway.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so in the moment, what I'm saying is that the past and the future are always in flux. You know what I'm saying? The past is consistent. It's stuck. It's not going to change.
Not all of it.
The future is always moving. Therefore, what we
Not all
have
of it.
now,
Leave some for
the
us.
present state, the present state that allows us to exist is what allows us to decide how much of the past we're going to bring into the future, or how much of the future we need to marry to the now and the past. However, we are in such a lineal. The present is the only reality that exists. They can tell you that they're going to inaugurate this dude on the 20th or whatever. They can have a whole pomp and circumstance. You can see this thing, and he's still not going to be president. They still going to flip it on you, and it ain't going to be that. Because the real president always gets inaugurated under the Republic on March 4th. So whatever y'all doing in y'all little fake, what do you call this? Jurat, right? This little fake de facto situation y'all got popping, and with all of the lying and all of the operation you got popping, what was great about this is that it created a delineation between those of us who think for ourselves, those of us who believe in a higher self, whether you call that God, Allah, whatever you want to say, and those of us that are totally earthbound, who have totally signed up with this illusion, and are willing to incarnate souls to kill and get rid of the rest of us by voting for mass genocide. That's what this thing was about. So when you get to the root brass tacks of it, we as a people, I'm over the idea of all of us getting together. That's never gonna happen anymore because y'all have chosen, not y'all, but the majority of our people have chosen to go down with this shit. So those of us that don't want to do that,
for financial security, money.
but they don't even have that.
No,
They shut down their businesses.
It's an illusion. But
They get welfare checks basically in the form of stimulus. Like what they done bankrupt your country. They done destroyed your country. They done made you believe they was making us believe that we wasn't Americans from the beginning. And half the niggas that was telling that to us were actually working for the goddamn United States government. So again.
I keep doing that because when I sit down, my hair gets caught in between the bowl and the back of the chair, and I can feel it pull sometimes. No, I'm okay. I got it. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's exactly why I was moving a lot. Sometimes like, why is she popping?
So that's what I'm saying, guys. We're at this great time in human existence where we can.
I don't even know. You know what I mean?
I'm watching a joint
and you know why we had to do it on my channel? Because Aseer did something and he was a copyright.
Y'all told me this dude tried to blackmail me with the copyright.
So I laugh because I go, I don't have anybody, but I'm really doing it to just even if the word gets out and people go, oh, these two people think, that's great, because I know, this isn't the shit. But what is so important for me to tell people really today is that we really need to do better for especially the younger folk out here that are like, that haven't gone through certain shit yet. We're supposed to be like, look, I don't want to talk smack, but at least try not to think that. I don't want you to go down the wrong path. You'll see for yourself. And that's what's happening. A lot of people are getting hung with their own with their own stuff. And then thank God there's other people there to go, no, you don't give your social security number to anybody. No, you don't so-and-so. So there's got to be a little bit of a Band-Aid after you get smacked down. And I'm grateful to be that for people. But I also wanted to just really say that, it's not my choice to seem devoid or to seem like I'm not as present. It's also like, how many times can I talk about products and this and that without, I can tell a story behind them, I could do a rap with it, I could think, so much creativity this year and getting other people. But for me, I think that I program myself not to ask, because if people see something growing, I would love for, if anybody had an idea, hey, I have an idea, I would love to work with you. Then I could be like, great. I just didn't want to be desperado, like, yo, I'm doing something, let me make friends do this, I'm popping. No, and it sounds weird because most people have a business to meet people through, but I didn't want that to be my initiating energy, that I'm starting this business in order to meet people and to gain,
Are you setting up a business to be prosperous, or are you setting a business up to make it a social enterprise for you? Like, that's
Absolutely.
What I'm saying. A lot of these businesses
or a brand.
that you see.
I don't want a brand without content. So that means I'm gonna have to go away to create content so that when my brand is there, you can see what the brand represents, and it's just not me, talking about what I'm gonna do. That's what I wanted to commit to.
A consistent thing that's not just one thing.
And that's why I took
So if you have a so you built.
Now I can have a little fun.
You built up a situation that allows you to have catalog. When you have catalog, that is success, because nobody can take that from you. And that goes to anybody.
And that's even why now I gotta switch it up, because I don't want to keep cataloging and not connect, and not just stay in the kitchen because that's the role that works for, that's always quiet her down. No, what's to say is that there's so much greatness going on, but a lot is taking place that doesn't have to happen, where young women are trusting the wrong energy in men. Young women are choosing to be by themselves, when yes, being by yourself is one thing, but writing, I'm not gonna trust anybody, and for the rest is another commitment. And I don't want people, because of the lack of what we see as great men around us.
Let's stop using our personal insecurities as a means to disqualify a whole group of people just because I can't do it. You have certain people who, because they may feel, or they may be, let's say, overweight, what they will do is that they will overly compensate on how comfortable they are in being overweight. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
And then what they do is then create this system where other people who look at them as overweight now want to give them encouragement, right? Because now that makes them feel like they're not hating on a fat chick or a fat dude, you know what I'm saying? When honestly, obesity is not healthy. I don't care how comfortable you are with it. It's not a natural occurrence of the human physiology. It's not. Because if it was, we all would be obese.
Sidebar, that's like a young woman I did a reading for a couple months ago. I haven't spoken to her in about 2 months. But she actually she made a lot of money. She was one of the faces.
Thank you.
For, I won't even say what it is because I don't want people to go, oh, I know what she's talking about. But she's, a larger plus model when it comes to like yoga and different things. And she's made a lot of money, like, 500,000. Let's put her in that category, because these are like 4 nationwide commercials.
Puppets get bread.
Long story short, we spoke, and she's totally depressed. She wants to lose weight, but if she loses weight, she might lose her contract.
Turn on.
She might lose her contract if she does this. She thinks this. She feels alienated. She wants to still think, but she's not. She's kind of dealing with depression. So we really just slowed down and said, first of all, let's just celebrate the fact that you got yourself out of a situation of poverty.
Word.
And you are now financially stable.
Right.
With all of the
Get out
other
of
weight
that.
shit, these are things that you can adjust. You can change now because you have the money to back you. You don't have the fear of not having consistent money. That $500,000, you could stretch that out, and that would be enough for me to last my whole life. But again, you got to plan certain stuff. You get used to certain roles. Now the fear comes in. Now the lack of partnership is there. And my whole thing is to say, let's celebrate what worked. The fact that you were able to attain such financial consistency and freedom is wonderful. Now we can work on the fact that, okay, these things didn't make you happy. They didn't get you the man. You don't have the what. So now you can work on all that stuff and have more ease and more help because you have the finance. You're not going to be worried about your vegan cookies. You can get all of the snacks you really need. Now your journey to health is easy. Like, look at what you did. And she was like, I didn't even think of it like that. Like, what? And this is what I mean. Who are you talking to that you ain't think of it like that? Girl, weight is nothing. Peace of mind once you get there, girl. So again, it's to remind each other of small things and not be so hard. Some of us really didn't have parents that looked out for us. Some of us had parents that we had to parent. Thank God I'm not one of those. My parent was so parenty. But again, some of us have moms that didn't love us like that or encourage our beauty. Some of us, all of these things are different things. And, you know, it sucks because I had to really come to terms with knowing, like, that's kind of also why I'm a little, because I'm not always proud of my blood family that I came from, you know. I want for them to not be materialistic traders, you know. Is that how I am? So this is also why you're not a part of that, because to lie and to deceive your own family just to have a Range Rover or some money, they have to live with that. I don't have to. So yeah, I might have to live with not having somebody to drop my kid off to on the weekends or once a year. But that and not having that, it allowed me to figure out how to create a job where he would be in that room and he wouldn't feel ignored by me and I could still do what I needed to do. So God puts us in situations that sometimes we don't want to be in, but we be in them to learn. Same thing, I'm not going to keep doing X, Y, and Z. Now I've learned I'd rather stay in my room and do whatever than go or believe or try to alter a friendship that doesn't need to be altered or pressured because they're just trying to look out and do their best, and their best might not be that good enough. You know? Hi, Lord. So I'm gonna get going soon. I just wanted to touch base and let you guys know Capricorn is being sold this month and every month. All the astrology butters, the skin astrology line. Someone was like, "It's Capricorn." I meant to say Capricorn's month is now. Rules the shoulders, the skeletal system, the bones, how things work together. And my moon being in Capricorn right now is a very auspicious time. I'm just grateful that I made certain commitments a year ago so that right now I wouldn't be like, because that's exactly, I said to myself, I don't swallow my pride and figure out how to never thing and not be angry. And if I don't do that really well in the next 10 years, it's not going to be anybody else's excuse. And that's something that I wanted to think, but that's not easy to learn because things happen to really push you in certain situations and see the imbalance in society as to how certain people will get, like he said, rewarded or will get paid. We can't allow that to really alter our heart space and change what it is God set forth for us to do and accomplish. The journey's just going to be a little longer. It's going to take a little bit more effort. And I've always known that someone that looks like me, I'm going to have to create and do more because I can't sell things with my boobs. I can't sell things with the girth of my hips and my ass. So people that do celebrate the fact that they can, but know that that might not be the journey that you can have, and that might not be how your stuff works because that's not what you look like. Again, so when you look at someone and are like, oh my God, that's not what you bring to the table. You got to work with what you bring to the table and not be upset that you might not fit the stats that equate to quick sales. Them girls with, they're going to get a lot quick, but we don't know how they feel inside. We don't know how anything.
Just because you see somebody always on TV don't mean it. You know how many millionaires they be telling you as millionaires and niggas broke. And how many people they talk about on the Forbes list? Oh, Jay-Z on the Forbes list is one of Forbes list. You know that there's a difference between the individual and the individual's name that's on the Forbes list, because the individual's name is what's being paid into. That's what's being focused on. And most of these individuals don't even own their name, because these niggas was never in a proper person to begin with. So they signed as slaves on another slave contract, and then we wonder why they wind up where they are, and they wind up
in financial
drought and good depression and all of that. But then we seeing them in videos and all of that, throwing
Traveling
money
the
in
world.
our face, right? Throwing money in our face, telling us how much better they are than us and all this other type of stuff. And now look what has happened. Now
It's
that
created
whole
an air revolution.
that whole Hollywood entertainment weaponized complex has now done. Anybody trying to
He
be
said
in
has
Hollywood
now
right
done.
now is done. Like anybody trying to be who's trying to really act right now? Who's trying to really go into a movie and do that right now?
You're right.
Who really trying to do that? Because if you trying to do that, you know what that
Did you see
means,
the light
right?
fade?
Yeah. that
The
was a
light,
big switch.
the light just faded on us immediately.
Well, I was gonna say, in order for you to do that, like at this stage of the game, you trying to do that, you know what you're gonna have to do?
A lot. And even if not, we don't really know.
We
what
do know,
single
because I
thing-
have niggas that's in there sending me direct intel, talking about, nigga, please help me get out of this. They talking about killing me. This is what's going on in the game right
You're
now.
right. You're right.
For real.
You know, what I was trying to talk to the rest of the world is saying that I don't think a lot of people know the different levels and the different
And you keep
tiers.
talking about what people know. Like there's no excuse for not knowing nothing no more.
You're right.
There's no
sweetheart.
excuse, man.
You're right.
My son
You're right,
be coming in the morning
baby.
showing me stuff that I'm like, damn, this is what they. He just bringing me information.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So
You're right.
there's no way that you could tell me that, oh, well, I didn't really know that, there wasn't a difference between the United States. You understand that this, not just me, you know how many people been talking about this?
You're right.
Nigga been talking about this since 1791,
And I
bro.
think people turn blind eyes, and there's a part of their spirit that just doesn't.
And it's
wanna
worse
see.
now. And it's worse now
You're
because
right.
now the mainstream outlets are all openly down with the yellow journalism censorship shit. So anything that can benefit you, really, you better
It's
not
gonna
watch
be
TV
quiet.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get it on TV. They're gonna show you the exact opposite. They could be dropping nuclear bombs here. You would never hear about it until the bomb hit. They're gonna be showing you reruns of Cheers and shit because they are totally against you. Anybody that is talking to you about democracy, about socialism, about Marxism, about the benefits of diversity
They
and
don't even use words like
multiculturalism.
Marxism though.
Yes,
They
they do.
practice Marxism.
No, they're using that. They tell you
Really?
that now. Yeah, the
Oh,
chick at
okay,
the
I
head
didn't
of the BLM.
I didn't know.
The dykes that
'cause
run
when-
the BLM
I didn't
came
know.
and
One
said
thing
that
that
we're
I-
trained Marxists.
Oh yeah, I forgot that conversation. You're right, but I don't even think that they understand what that equates to.
Again, you
If
keep
you-
saying they don't understand.
You know why?
How they
Because-
don't understand
you know
they
why?
started a multi-million-dollar movement?
You're right. You know why though? When I tell certain women, "Are you aware of child trafficking of this?" They're not. There's some people that don't want to know. You don't. And
See,
this
that's
is
different than say that.
don't want to know is different than
Don't
think.
wanna
I get
know.
it, but this is why I love my child. Oh my God, they came out good.
They like the
You know
old
one?
music,
They like
right?
the old one. You taste it? This
We
is why I
just
love my
found
child.
these new nachos. They tight.
Not even that.
Organic.
I like that he brings me back to reality. Food, baby. Food, life,
Exactly.
good times, happiness. All of this is great. But the work that Aseer does, you see why I had to create my own portal and have my own lotion so when he's talking this in the house, outside, I could disappear for 6-7 hours at a time and create because my mind as a woman cannot be on the vibration that his is on. I tried. It doesn't work for me. It makes me so aware and it creates such a frequency of like, I guess, error of judgment and people thinking that I'm not approachable or when I really am. If you're wearing a wig or a weave, I'll still deal with you as a person.
So
but I
will
am.
Like,
and you-
I don't treat
no,
people
honey, I'm not
bad.
saying what I'm
But
talking
when
about
you
me
say it
that.
like that, though, it's the antithesis of what I'm saying, though, as well. Like, I don't want it to be like that. Like, I don't
That can be
wear
true.
weave, marry white people, do whatever you want to do, man. All I'm saying is that when you make it a political agenda, when you make it where if I'm not doing that, something's wrong with me, or if my community don't agree with that, then we should all go to hell, then I'm not with that. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not with it.
Absolutely.
But wear your dress, wear your wig, whatever, man.
What I was saying as well, though,
whatever, yo.
and I don't say that there's judgment. What I was expressing from my perspective as a female that is not on, that is not a seer. I'm not him. So as a woman in the world, what he just said is extremely right and true. I just know that I've met women that might still be in their weave stage or their wig stage, and they might want to have a conversation with us, but they might feel like, well, I can't come to him and think, because there's no judgment about the choices that the individual makes.
No.
But we are going to be aware. Like sometimes I'm aware of, wow, this woman's talking about empowerment and loving herself, but she has a wig on. So does that make her a liar? No. It just means that she's
confident about everything but that.
Right. And maybe she doesn't have
what
somebody.
Does that mean?
And maybe she doesn't have somebody. This is where me, the woman, and the compassion come in. Because I don't want to. Women are so sensitive. And if I want to be in this world and let females know it's okay, I've been there, then I don't necessarily want to always make people feel that aren't on the up and up, that they don't have the potential to be. And he doesn't do that. I'm talking about me. And me saying what I'm saying is not a negation to what he has said. Or is not a challenge to what he has said. It's just something that I'm saying. As me, as a woman. It's like somebody else that might come and be like, oh, look at my crystal infused company. I don't even tell them that I have one, because I am not trying to negate the fact that they are trying to
negate you,
or trying to have theirs.
Negate you?
Because I don't feel negated.
You can't.
And not
feeling original.
You're right. I don't feel negated, so I don't project that onto someone. But I also go, okay, well, I don't think that I could travel with this person or be in close proxemics, because maybe they're still dealing with some aspects of dishonesty and might not be able to just be no guile, Having no guile and telling someone what they're great at is not something that everybody can do. It's something that I can do, but I don't feel that every woman that thinks is honest like that. Some women have seen and think will be like, oh, I don't know her. I don't know what she does. So I don't, it's like meeting that beautiful woman the other day, and she was talking about all her lotions. And it was just one, but she's talking about her ideas, which are fabulous. You remember this? In front of the burrito spot? And I was like, that's great. Oh yeah, coffee. Well, you could try this. I'm not being a bitch. I just wanted to turn down what I did to allow her to turn up what she did. Because God forbid, you know why? If I throw out my business card and tell her, now she won't think I'm trying to challenge and think, is that for me to control? No. But can I minimize it? Yes. So this is all the psycho shit a female goes through. Because I just want her to think. In the future, after we think, if I even have a future, then I'll throw her my link and let her see what I'm doing. But she didn't ask me what I'm doing. She's so invested in telling me what she's doing. I have no problem in being a listener. And again, in not injecting what I do while she is trying to let me know what she does.
To show off about what she potentially may do.
Yes.
Because she didn't even have this shit together when
No.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's my point with these millennials. Stop acting like you got your shit together and you don't. Stop acting like you just as smart as everybody when you not. Stop putting yourself in positions to want to actually get clout by verbally sparring with somebody that's your senior and your elder. Like anybody out here still trying to debate niggas and go in on people trying to go back and forth about what knowledge is real and this. It's like all of that. Y'all
like sometimes a 23.
Anything that you keep going with like that and putting in positions, what you're doing is creating more of an instance for that type of controversy to stay in your life. Start closing the door on those conversations. Start making and respecting your intellect enough not to sully it by talking to somebody that's basically an idiot. Because they watch what somebody else said and they watch what somebody else wrote, and now they coming to you for education, but at the same time, they want to teach you and challenge what it is you trying to teach them. It's not going to work. And original people, so-called melanated people, erroneously misnomed as black people, have a big problem with that shit. Y'all got to get off of that. That's what's keeping us separated. to the point where it's like we just can't, like if I'm a Moor, which I am, we're Moors like we are, there should be no reason I can see somebody from a Nuwapian situation and we sit down and build and all of that. And even if we get into somewhat of a debate, I'm not going to stop being a Moor to be what you are, and vice versa. We should be able to communicate our ideas with each other, still be in our customary so-called tribal unit or whatever, and still come together to put foot to ass when it comes to this white man raping and killing and destroying our people.
You don't color white. You're absolutely.
Talking about the GHT man and the graham crackers that is working to keep this nigga in power. That's what I'm saying.
I just was thinking it. And what I was saying before, it sounded like I might have interrupted him because we think like that. 23-year-olds have wisdom. I wanted to say I'm not here to negate the youth or.
Well, you have knowledge.
Excuse me, knowledge. But I was going to say what they can lack is a little wisdom because that comes with experience and time. So that's where instead of challenging a youth in that regard, I allow someone to bring what they feel they have to the table so that it's not like they don't have anything and they feel as though just this woman who is 25 years older is telling them, because that's another thing that I won't do as an elder, is tell you what I think decision-wise you should make or do.
Keep it real.
But at the same token, what I was going to say is I am never too in any place to not learn from anyone. I've learned from 8-year-olds, all right? I've learned little shit from 9-year-olds. But it's not even necessarily what they might be teaching, it's how they assimilate stuff or me paying attention to what I want to learn. So it's not like they might have knowledge to drop, but the way in which children behave sometimes will teach me something very great, right?
Birds. I watch it from birds. We learn it from them.
But what I was trying to say before he was like, is that 22-year-olds I can learn from. You guys are so on point with certain stuff. I just know as a 43-year-old that there's experience and a little time. That's what I would like to sometimes sprinkle on the youth and say, I hear you, but give yourself 10 years because right now, the way in which you're going to burn yourself out.
The human brain don't develop until 25. The melanated brain really don't develop really
till 30.
Itself really to 25 into 30.
Into 30,
so they got these people really mentally locked into this structure that says that what I am at 12 is what I'm gonna be at 21. It's not how life works, man. You still figuring it out. We're all works in progress.
Absolutely.
So you cannot act
I just didn't want people to think, I don't, there's always room to learn.
But what I'm saying is, we also be on some, or what they have the original woman specifically in.
Minimizing.
They put you in a box that says, you always gotta think about how other people is going to be affected by anything you do.
Absolutely.
This is what they got original women on. And every original woman know that. And all men and women and children, we all guilty of that because we put the female in a position, right? The original female in position. Well, we didn't do this. The Boule black women DNC Boule niggas put us in this position when they created that welfare system where they had to get the black woman to get the man out the house. Okay, so we didn't agree, none of us agreed with that. But those women that did agree with that created a generational cycle, right? That has now led to the point where when you watch TV now, you cannot see an original family together. If you do, it's gonna be an AIDS commercial, it's gonna be some sort of drug commercial, but any like basic stuff is gonna be a black woman, a white man, black man with a white woman. So what I'm telling you is that they're not doing that to anybody else on the planet. They're only doing that to you. And it's because because the original woman is put in a position to have to be the constant
balancer, neutralizer. But then gotta be open for everybody. But they gotta be ready to cook. See why they gotta be ready to do this. See why they can go crazy. And this is why, for myself, I know the message and how I come off.
Get off that.
And there's a part of me that's like, that's cool, but also to take responsibility of having a voice. When you have this staccato voice that I have, same thing. Just in the building, little things happen, and I realize I just don't have a light voice. I have no tonsils, I have no adenoids, so there's a little gutturalness in my voice, and I'm aware of that. Being aware of such, why I have my own business, why I stay, because I don't always want to have to do what I'm doing with the rest of the world, because they don't do that for me. That doesn't make me bitter. It just says, wow, I really break my back. Literally, break my back to make sure I don't think, because I am constantly targeted as being too much or sick thing. Even in this building, he's seen it. And I tell, it's race, it's color all the time. I'm in my own world, right? But it doesn't mean that when I step outside, there is an immediate.
They're still trying to get you to come back to this fake reality of who they want you to be. And with original women, like I say, I gotta stop.
Or just being
letting
really
them
mean
do
to
that
me.
to you.
Mean. People
Stop letting
so
them
rude.
put you in positions to feel like you gotta be the world's mammy. That is
And
not
when
everybody's
you're not,
brother.
you're anti-Christian,
not,
you're
anti-
Yoruba-ish, you're type,
But
you're
guess
never.
what?
I'd rather
Original
be
women,
that.
yeah, but guess what? Original women is the most oppressive with each other on that shit. Y'all do that to each other.
Yes, they
Y'all
do.
put yourselves
in
competition, perpetual.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And this is why, what I tell
with
you,
one another,
this
man.
is also why I like this situation.
Ain't no white man doing that.
I don't want to
Just because you
entertain
ain't
that
have a
or
weave,
be a part of that.
Okay, if you have a weave, then love that weave. Don't come around a sister that don't have
And have
one,
her want to co-sign and loving it.
and then be on some throwing her shade. Or if you got fake locks, right? And then you come around somebody with real locks that actually took time and grew they shit as long as you bought for them things to be, don't hate on that person. Don't feel insecure around that person.
Word.
Respect the fact that you had enough money to buy fake locks, to put them in, and now you can look like you got real ones next to the real one. But don't start doing the fake shit and then hating on the reality.
That's why I stopped trying. It was draining. It's draining.
You gotta get off
and
that,
I'm
man.
so glad I stopped, because that's when my life started getting good. Was when I stopped trying to be included in the female circle. When I stopped trying to be friendly with everybody. The other day, same thing. And I'm thinking, because I love being a woman, so I love going through the moments. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and this was so telling. 3 hours on the phone with this woman, right? Let's say on a Monday. On a Wednesday, she calls me and it's like, I didn't hear from you yesterday. I don't know. I just feel like you're not opening up. You know what I said? I said, then don't fuck with me then. Don't fuck with me. What the fuck you calling me for? And I just got so annoyed real quick. Because I've known this girl for like 10 years, but now we don't talk like that. I open up, I'm mad cool with her, mad vulnerable. 3 hours on the phone. She gonna call me a day later talking about, I don't know, I just said something like you not opening up. I said, no, don't fuck with me. That sounds a little extreme, like, oh, she being, what do you want? I gave you everything. You want more? Let me get a little from you. Yeah. Don't be so hard on me. Yeah. You're making me feel like your boyfriend and I've got a vagina. Why do I feel like I have to take care of you emotionally? Why do I feel like if I don't respond to you via text within the first 2 hours, you're thinking that I'm trying to challenge you? Why do you feel as though that's not for me to micromanage? And that's really why I started staying a little bit more to myself and testing this stuff and being like, I'm really striving to not hurt, but I also don't want to have to jump whenever somebody pushes a text send and jump. So I literally leave my phone upstairs so that I'm not conditioned for those responses. I had to play a game with myself because I realized I was a little apologetic. And in being such, and in not having the family support, I realized I kind of will take whatever. Meaning like, oh, I'll talk to you every day for 6 months and you don't have, I don't require a lot. Right. And in not requiring a lot, sometimes that can be like, oh, I can do anything with it because I don't require a lot. But that doesn't mean that I'm not aware, I'm not seeing certain things, and that's something to empower oneself with as well. Mm-hmm. And I say all of that, it does not, you think I got into this, the first person that asked to work with me is a guy. That's great, I respect the guy because he makes my labels, I pay him for my labels, but do you know that I said to my husband, I said, wow, the first person that humbled is him. I'm gonna take it because it's a great opportunity, but at the same token, I've been praying for just a woman that kind of looked like me and did the same thing and had a little bit of work ethic. I stopped doing that years ago. I stopped waiting for it because I realized you're gonna get yourself sick. You're waiting and you're hoping and you're thinking. Don't put that out there. You come off desperate. Go back within. This is like in 2010, maybe when Amor was 2. But I remember having this conversation with myself and saying, you're kind of being desperate, Celina. So to fast forward the story into what I just expressed, I didn't mean to come off like that, but damn, I spent 3 hours of just sharing and answering, and it was mutual and it was great. And then the next day, I'm sorry, I didn't text back right away. Well, no apologies anymore. So if we're moving into this space of no apologies and no, you saw the lightning, and no thing, wonderful. But I had to say that because I also don't want people that are in my life to not get what they want. If you want full conversations on the phone, I know that I can't give that. So I'll tell you right away, that's not something I can do. It's just not. And take care of him and mop, and it's not. So all of that is to say this is the adult lifestyle that I didn't even know I kind of graduated and placed myself in because it became less draining, micromanaging my friends and people's energy as to why they might be a little weird and why. I don't do that anymore.
It's at the point
It's
now
and it's
the
wonderful.
original woman needs to come into her own and stop striving to create a world for mutants and everybody else and start to focus more back on her children. Remember when you could see an original woman on TV and she had a baby and the baby actually looked like her, same color and everything? Why is it so wrong to want to see that? Why is it so wrong that if I say, I love my people above every other people, that something is wrong with me? Like, there's nothing wrong with me to love the people that I come from. It's something wrong with you if you want me to love other people more than them. You understand? And this is where we
correct
at.
that language. There's something disconnected, and it's outside of our. Yes, you're right.
Man, I don't
Right.
expect
There's something wrong.
Caucasian people or any other race of beings to be any way other than what they've shown me to be. But when it comes to my own people, as somebody that's been on earth with them for the past 47 years, I think we could do a lot of shit better.
And I love
And
you.
namely-
You're doing great with your friends.
Thank you. And
You just
namely
got
created a situation where
I hear.
where we don't actively communicate as directly as we need to because everybody is filtering themselves through whatever app or whatever resource they feel is going to protect people from knowing the real them. So don't want somebody to be real with you. Don't try to get in a real relationship with a female and you not giving her your real address, your real number, your real name, where you really work. Don't get with a, and then men, don't get with no female that talking about she wants you to constantly keep it real with her and be totally truthful, and she got fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake behind, fake breasts. Like,
There's a little bit of distractions there.
you're not what you want me to be. You want me to be something that you could not be for yourself.
And that's totally.
And that is maladapted. If I, as a man, if I, as a human being, indulge that, then that means that I am basically supporting a psychosis that you are now going to eventually affect me and anybody else around with that.
Well, it's
And
like that baby mama stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
If she feels legitimized and ripping the
Exactly.
child from the family,
Then it's okay.
then it's okay. It doesn't matter how the child feels,
It's okay.
whether the relationships are involved, or the fact that this is the first traumatic experience that you're actually imprinting on your child. You might not understand that it's making them disassociate and have to choose, and what that choice is to say, wow, I don't like, you don't like daddy, then I can't like daddy. You think
Sick.
daddy is not good to women, then I have to somehow
Sick.
separate myself and not feel that daddy's good to women.
Sick.
You think, and this is just, and the same thing with men. Certain men, we are not what we think that we always are. And I'd rather someone keep it real with me, like, you apologize too much.
Yep.
And then me think of why I do that rather than, and again, wrong, right, oh, it's not advanced. All of these little trap words that, again, people outside of our continuum have created to create this separation of language.
Yeah.
Like I hear some metaphysicians and they're all light skinned. I'm not here to think, but most of them are mulatto. So I know that it's great, but white people are very much more comfortable with mulattoes than they are people that look like me. They don't say that all the time. I'm not making a sweeping statement, but I've noticed through pattern behavior that people that are of mulatto or look mixed will be able to enter. My sister.
They use them.
My sister is a lighter person.
They let themselves
White
be
people
used.
all up around her. Jews all the time because they think I know I'm black, but they think I'm one of them. And I say that to say it's a different experience. Certain white people, they just approach me different than I know that they might someone of a lighter shade. That doesn't make me angry. It's just what they're bringing to the table, and it allows me to see and just know how to move, right? But it's very, very interesting because there's a little group or community and it's totally maladaptive, but you know, they co-sign each other and it's the light skin, you know, mulatto, like metaphysical women that have all been given their little the
white boys,
or not even that. Some black women,
TED Talks,
some women in Brooklyn who are really just, they only allow these types of women with curly mixed, no disrespect, but to date their sons, and these sons would be nigger black, like black men. But oh no, my he only could date, and I'm looking at the mama like, oh, she is self-hating black woman, but she not, cause she act like, but does she have anything that reflect? No. All of these conversations, everybody's a little different, but I started realizing that the energy that we imbue on people isn't necessarily what they feel within themselves. And they might be dealing with extreme issues of colorism and extreme issues of imbalance and self-hate. But because they have people around them that might not look like they're in a self-hating position, it kind of colors this air of superiority. And it's very phony. And that's what I mean by even the conversation. I'm present, but I also don't want people in any relationship. You shouldn't feel as though you're entertaining something and having to bend or break or give more or take more. It needs to be mutual, and if something doesn't feel like that, I'm gonna ask a question as to, then let's not do this. And I don't want you to feel like if I don't text you on a Wednesday that the world is coming to an end. It's not. It's okay.
What I'm saying too is that like there's books you can get on this. There's sociological theses written on how mulattoes have been used throughout centuries to basically break up the original darker skinned communities and to be able to integrate those communities to look more European. This is a fact. This is not racism. This is a part of what it means and part of the choices that these people get into these interracial relationships don't ever want to deal with.
And they're not even.
And then what happens is we wind up dealing with it.
Didn't you say that? Like all these ones, none of them have men.
Yeah, none of these chicks that you be saying that she talking about, none of these chicks got men on the table with them.
And that's not anything bad. It's just to say that to constantly be by yourself.
Yeah, like you constantly talking to me about how you don't need this and how you don't need that and how
I'm not doing this for that.
And I'm not
getting in shape for a man.
And I'm not getting in shape for a man. No man. And I don't need a validation. I don't need this. I just need my girl.
Of course we know we don't.
That's like when that's the same as when guys. When a guy talking about, yo, I only trust my niggas. I only be rocking with my niggas. I only do that. When I see a guy, he tell me, yo, I only fuck with my niggas. Or I only or I don't trust no bitch.
Well, like you said, don't bring sand to the beach.
Don't bring sand to the beach when I'm thinking like dudes that have issues with being around women, I don't rock with. Period. Just because there most likely is some homoerotic leftover stuff with these guys. Because anybody that don't like a woman, like that's the opposite of what I thought it meant to be a man. Like I don't see anything beautiful other than that. So if you now are in a position where you're trying to overly exploit a female, you overly on some just whatever, bros over hoes, all of that, that's a problem. That's just as bad as sisters talking about, oh, well, we just gonna have the girls' night out. Or, oh, we only just gonna do this.
Or have a baby
we can just do this. I'm gonna just have a baby by him and then just take the baby. Or I'm just gonna do whatever. Like,
and that's not
both people, the male and the female position, messed up.
That's not talking about the opposite of men making babies and choosing not to be there. We're not talking about that.
We ain't talking about that.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I know that's there as well.
But more people, more original men are taking care of their children than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Than anybody else. It's a fact.
That's not purported in society.
It's a fact.
But it is true.
Black men, so-called melanated men, are the most present with their children when they allowed to be there. More than any other race of people. And I'm clapping because I get hyped. Because so many people carry this narrative that was infested and purported on us by sisters that sold out our people. They sold us out. Look at the movie Claudine. Look at the movie Poppy.
They were the most Angela Davis.
Right, because what was she? A goddamn communist. You see what I'm saying? They conned y'all out of having men. They conned you out of having fathers. They conned you out of respecting your position as a female.
Because it's absolute. Remember we talked about that?
Right?
Women like wiggle
And so who bagged up your men?
Room.
And who bagged up your men after? Every other female, right? Every other female. To the point now you gotta act like you ain't mad. So now you're saying, oh, well, I don't date black men anyway. So what you gonna do? You gonna be with this white man? You gonna be with this Indian man? You gonna be with this China man? You think they gonna treat you better? You really think that? In 2021? Excuse me, 1441, that's what you think? Then do that. Then do that and let those of us that wanna be together stay together. Stop trying to create these alternative fake Rexo families that you created through Facebook or whatever group y'all niggas is in to foster the fact that don't no man want to be with you. Let's really keep it real. A lot of men
miserable. It's because the misery.
don't even want to be with female because they miserable. Just like there's a lot of females that want a good man.
Listen. And listening is
But
hard.
want a good man. That's good females. That's good mothers, right? But this nigga ain't shit, right? So now you have the ain't shit nigga, right? Let's get the ain't shit niggas and the ain't shit females together, and then the people that's worth a damn, let's foster them being together. Instead of trying to flip this narrative that we would both be better with an opposite mutated race when she's the one that created all of y'all. There would be no Arabs. There would be no Chinamen. There would be no Europeans.
What did I say to you? I see and I understand why they're trying to bleed this out because they don't want little girls to go through what I've explained for a couple minutes.
Yep.
But let me tell you something. The talks that I've had with women, I've met more women that have been treated with racial fucked upness that are light skinned that are brown or dark skinned.
Yep.
More light skinned, and this is what needs to be talked about. More light skinned women that I've met have been treated with horrific behavior. Then I'm extreme. You either white people know, oh, I don't like talking to her or thing. I've met people like my sister's color, light skin, right? The light skin girl, been forced to bleach their hands while
my daughter family.
His daughter.
My daughter family.
I didn't want to use her name, but his daughter Victory was forced to wash her hands
with bleach
in her school,
and her mother let it happen. Matter of fact, let me stop screaming because this shit just get me too hyped.
I feel you, but that's to say, you know what that could dictate and tell
all to keep her from me.
All to condition. And I've talked, I'm grateful that they've shared it. Because other women have shared stuff like that too, them having to cut their hair. And these are women that don't even have my color. So it's not a color thing. If this young woman who is considered honey brown,
my daughter had to kidnap her.
You understand? Just because I don't like daddy, whatever the case may be, it's not doing well for our children. And these are the lessons that we're teaching young people, that your skin and all of these things. I've met more women that are light or opposite shade and have less confidence and less self-worth based on that. So it's a double entendre. And this is the same combo I can say I've met brown skinned women that are not only apologetic, but don't know how to be happy
to even give you love to another one.
Because it's something that they've experienced. So I get it. But I just wanted to take a moment to say we don't have to take that.
This book
and
I
talk as nice as I think. Sometimes I have to turn up like that and say not just what I said to the young lady that can come off harsh, but even to people in the building. The other day I dropped off my packages at USPS and I came outside. The man inside the spot ran outside and banged on my car window. I thought something happened. He said, "You don't have on a mask."
Say, eat a dick.
I said, "Yo, go fuck yourself." And I turned up the window. Now I had on a mask, but I just ran in to throw off the packages real quick. And it's okay to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. It feels really good sometimes. We need to do that as women. We need to be like, I'm all being the nice one, like, oh, did he leave? Is everything? Held the door for the nigga. You don't have on your mask. You must fuck. Yeah, he's not even a worker there. You're just online. You came out off the line to bang on my car door to tell me I don't have on a mask when it's a.
I'm saying people be wanting to get hurt nowadays.
I said people are
So you gotta step
back. It's a new police society where people that don't have
want
badges
you to take them out. He wanted to get punched in the face. That's what he wanted to do.
And then the other day I had some guy, because I didn't move the time he asked me to move, he looked at me and said, "You know what? Suck my dick." And I said, "My lips is too big to get around your small Pinot." He got so upset in the store. It was like, "What the hell?" I started laughing at him. I said, "Somebody is, remove this Navarro Arabic chimpanzee,
like this
please."
nigga, you're a slave.
No, I had to say that because I'm being a thing, but I realized what I feel is different than what people. Some people just feel like, "Oh, I can shit on her, I can talk to her."
There's a book you can get. There's some books you can get.
It's not my fight, but I'm also not here to be punched energetically in the face.
So there's some books you can get on the whole mulatto thing and how they've been using them against us and how they've been using them against each other. And this is not no disrespect to people who have white parents. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't have no guile in my hate for nobody other than the devil. You do now have no choice as to how you was genetically created.
Absolutely.
But you do have a choice as to how you act now that you outside that womb and you know you in this white supremacist, I don't even like using that word.
You in this
devilishment society that is going to use the fact that you are lighter skinned to make other people feel inferior. So everybody that is lighter skinned or jealous or whatever, they benefit from that. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you do.
In that way.
You do. And you've used it at points in your time to get over with certain shit, which you should do.
My sister does it all the time.
Which you should do. You would be stupid if you did it. The same way I've used my status and position to get over and do stuff that other people couldn't do. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is when you use that position to try to inflict this mental disparage on the rest of us that may not be that shade because of the insecurity you feel about it, because nobody really talked to you and lied to you and told you shit like, oh, well, I don't see color, I don't see this, I don't see race.
You don't see
all
color,
of that is a lie.
All of your top students are light-skinned.
All of it's a lie.
Okay.
It's no coincidence that everybody that's talking about this black liberation, all of this black, let's fight the power thing, everybody light skin. Sean King, light skin. Jesse Williams, light skin. What you call a light skin? They all light skin. So what I'm saying is, but the people doing the dying, right? The people that's actually on the front line getting shot and killed and all that, these is the so-called original people. The people dark like us. Like the other day, we're crazy. Let me stay on topic.
No,
long story short.
You can say it and then we can get off. Go ahead.
Right, I just want to get the books. I want to get the books out.
I can remember that, and you can say what you were going to say the other day.
The other day, we were talking to this dude, or she was talking to this dude, and in the process of the conversation, he referred to me as light skinned, right?
Oh.
Which was funny, because up until that moment, right, I didn't even, that's not even how I would perceive that people would see me. You dig what I'm saying? So it gave me a minute to look back like, wait a minute, I'm bugging. Maybe I'm not as dark as I think I am, on the epidermis and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's what's going on. I'm tripping. Because homie...
Hold on.
It's done?
No.
Oh, because homie is like, yo.
Yeah, I think we're still going.
Yeah, homie was like, yo, I'm just doing it now. He's like,
I don't know if you heard him say, he was like, I think I'm tripping.
Right, so now I'm like, wow, I'm actually really not as dark as I see myself as being.
No, you have the yellow undertones. I have the red.
Right.
You're a caramel brown.
Right.
If I would have think all that, but
this is what I don't do.
This is what I don't do with black folk. You a black man.
Right,
I don't care, light skin, dark skin.
And again, as a Moor, you know how Moors get crazy with the black thing and all of that. Now, when I'm talking about it, I'm not using it in the context of the misnomer and all that. I'm talking about that in the context of us as, you know what I mean, melanated, whatever. And I don't always want to get into the difference between,
color,
the criminal black, the cosmic black. Like, y'all know how I get down. You already know what I'm talking about. So let's not be so asinine that we got to just be so exacting with every word. But what I'm saying is, ultimately, we are all put in this position for a reason. And Allah did not put us on this planet to be against one another. It didn't. Because if that was the case, we would have came out the womb strapped. We would have came out the womb killing. That doesn't happen until we're miseducated to see people as outside of Allah's grace. So, for those people who may be mulatto, who may be suffering from colorism, and those black people, and those black people that may be suffering from it too,
that they're half,
or you're this, or you're that, you have to understand, you can't be half of a whole.
It's not true.
Dominant genes are dominant. The melanated gene, the EU melanin gene, is dominant, regardless of how light
it expresses itself in your color.
It expresses itself how you do it. There's a movie y'all should check out called Synchronic with Anthony Mackie. Check that movie out.
Oh, time travel.
Time travel through the pineal gland.
And it's funny because when we were talking about color, I was like, the human stain? I don't know why I thought you were going to go to that.
Time travel through the pineal gland.
Yes.
It's very operative and it can happen. And in that movie, it shows you he's the original man in Florida and he wound up going to the Ice Age Then after the Ice Age, he wound up in the Conquistador time. Then after that, he wound up in the Civil War time. You see what I'm saying?
Himself in the same
All himself and the nigga, you'll see it. The nigga that he met in all them 3 times, the same devil.
It's very
You show him in the Ice Age, giving the devil fire, showing the devil how to make fire.
It was wonderful. Just for
excellent.
That aspect, the movie.
But peep that. But anyway, the books I was talking about, Blue Vein Society. Get that book, great book.
Thank you.
The Blue Vein Society. Another joint, Mulattoes in the Antebellum South. Another book you can get, Black Masters and White Slaves. Another book you can get, White Women Captives in North Africa. Another book you can get is the True Origin of the Cotillion. For all y'all Boule, Jack and Jill, self-hating black people. I just read get that joint, man.
And this is what I mean by, see, when you read, it just opens shit. I don't know how to explain it. And as late as it be at nighttime, I try on the bathroom and the thing, just read a little because it has really gotten me like so far and not being people's bitches. I don't know how to explain it to you. Because if you don't read, it's like somebody else could tell you the translation is something.
That's why I know.
And looking at this stuff with the cotillion and with the Circle 9, I get some women really think that they doing good shit in that shit. They really think that they're bringing people together, and it's not the case.
That's not what it's set up to do.
It's not the case.
It's not set up to do that.
These sororities are horrifically demonic.
Yes, they are.
And I can't not tell you that. That is why certain shit in these women's lives go awry. They
got it in color spectrum. If you light skin, you AKA. If you dark skin, you Zeta. If you what you call it, you this.
It's the same thing with the
fuck out of here with
say
that.
something with the fraternal men. What do you call them?
The Freemasons.
But they had something on a thing that was like, oh, let's give it up to our brothers, and all these brothers had these bonds on their thing, and these.
You talking about the gay Greeks, the black Greeks?
Yes, the Greeks.
The black Greeks.
You understand that as a woman that no man in that would have. I know that. Oh, I ain't attracted to you anyway, bitch. I like my bitches with that light skin and their hair and they perm. So it's great. So I can diss them and say nobody with a brand on their body.
No.
At an older age,
nobody calling themselves a black Greek is getting into the hereafter. I'm telling you now.
It just
it's not gonna happen.
It just really, at least not the hereafter.
It ain't gonna happen.
Not everybody's going to the same hereafter.
We ain't. You gonna go to the one that you have created in your mind to be in, and that's gonna be with these crackers.
The nice
and if
white
they ain't
light.
give it right, the nice white light. Go to the white light. The rest of us going into the dark. You gonna go into the primordial.
I'm trying to travel without being seen. All this, no corporeal body.
I'm not coming back to this illusion.
This is right. This what do I used to say? I used to say, reincarceration.
Yes.
According to Bobby Hemmett.
Reincarceration. That's right.
Reincarceration. Big up to Bobby for that. A long time ago.
Word.
But I was like, no, I'm not getting reincarcerated.
No.
I want to learn enough, but also be honest and know that this skin color was also a trophy.
Yep.
Because this is the hardest thing to transmute. So that means I must have come here.
So we got this. We are at the top of the celestial ladder, nigga.
And
I'm telling you.
that is why they're trying to get us to doubt and to align with them and to not have courage.
So fuck around if you want.
And to put them on a higher frequency. I know, because when I dream, ain't nobody that's light like that in my dreams.
Never.
I'm not going someplace where the white man
one
is.
Yet.
And I could cry saying that.
I ain't seen no white people.
I am not going nowhere where the white man is. As evil as he's been to me here.
Yup, and his grand crackers.
I will not be nowhere where that entity exists.
No.
I shall.
Ashe.
See y'all later.
Peace.
Oh. Are you sure you want to?
Mm-hmm.
Let me untake this off. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? And then I hit end, right?